Hi, my name is Dr. David Wank, and I am the founder and CEO of Short Hills Design, and I want to thank you for downloading our Google Analytics 4 migration checklist. In this short video, I want to walk you through a couple of highlights of the checklist that I think will be helpful for you as you proceed with your Google Analytics 4 migrations or your client migrations. Before we dive into the checklist, I want to take a moment to introduce myself so you know who you're listening to. I am a Harvard-trained general dentist, and I still see patients 4 days a week. And I also run my marketing agency with my team. And the reason that we came up with this checklist is because we have dozens and dozens and dozens of clients, and we need to migrate all of them to Google Analytics 4. And in doing that, we had to do a lot of research and figuring out on our own what to do, what not to do, because GA4 is so different than Universal Analytics. So with that being said and that background understood, let's talk about this checklist. The checklist is broken up into sections, obviously, that you can see. Not everything in the checklist is going to apply to you, or you might not need to do it, but it's there just so we're comprehensive. This does not cover e-commerce because e-commerce is very specialized, but the concepts you're going to have here can apply to e-commerce, and a lot of clients who are using e-commerce, whether it's WooCommerce or specific e-commerce websites, have their own GA4 integrations. And also we have a tutorial series on YouTube so you can see some of the videos that we have. Some of these are from our actual training, the paid version of it, but you can see here just some of those to help you get started. Over here, I have notes on the side, some helpful tips. And at the bottom, we've got a link to the DIY training, which is $99, goes up in January of 2023. If you wanted to hire us to migrate you or your clients, and we do white label migrations for agencies, and obviously, if we're doing a lot of migrations for you, we certainly work on the price. So let's talk about getting started. If you are, some of these you can skip if you're not working with clients directly, but obviously you've got to have a questionnaire for your clients. If you are a very small company and you really know your clients very well and you know you don't need to do a questionnaire. Sometimes you'd like to have a questionnaire because that way if the client says, well, you didn't migrate this goal or that goal, we're forcing the client to give us an inventory of what they have. Obviously, we're going to look and see, but this way the client does have some responsibility. If they never submitted it, you can say, oh, I went into this and I found this goal you forgot to add, the goal being the Universal Analytics equivalent of an event, of a conversion event in GA4. You can say, oh, here's the questionnaire, and you didn't write this, so I added it for you. Next thing you're going to need, obviously, is access to Google Analytics 3, Universal Analytics. Now, ideally, we create the account side by side, but sometimes clients, unfortunately, don't have access to their own analytics, which is a huge pet peeve of mine, but they don't, or we try 17 times to get access with them, and they give us access and it still doesn't work, then I just create a new GA4 property. The truth is that GA3 is going to be gone soon, and creating another property that we share with the client, most of our clients don't mind if we do that. Then we set up the Tag Manager container, which we go over in our training, install it on the website. We'll teach you how to put it in there with WordPress plugin, or just adding it, you can add the code by hand. It's pretty easy. And once that's done, and then we're pretty much done with the website, which is nice. We then create the GA4 property. And in that, there are a bunch of settings, and a lot of them are new and strange. So property access management, here are the settings and analytics. On the left side, when you look in the administration area, this might change by the time you're watching this video, but Google's come pretty far ahead with where this is, so I don't think it's going to change that much. So under, you're going to add your client, you're going to add a stream. So data streams are something that's brand new with Google Analytics 4. We no longer have the UAIDs that we tie into a property. Google calls it a stream. So Google wants you to be able to say, you've got your website and you've got your app, if you have an app, and we're going to unify all of these streams into one, overall data source. So for most of us, we're just doing a web app here, a website. And in that case, we're just going to add a single stream for your website. One stream, one URL, and you're done. That's it. Now, your measurement ID, again, we don't have a UA anymore. And so what we're going to do is we'll show you how to go into Tag Manager and then add the measurement ID. Once you add your stream in analytics, it's going to show you the measurement ID that starts with the G, because they also give you another ID, which gets kind of confusing. I think it's in my comment over here. Yeah, the stream ID is not the measurement ID. Thanks, Google. So then, of course, we publish the container, which has already been installed, verify that installation with Google's Tag Assistant, and then under the data streams, you're going to have some options. Some of them can get a little bit in the weeds, but for the most part, enable enhanced measurement. You can do the extra tagging settings here if you need them. A lot of our clients personally are small businesses that don't have dedicated internal networks with dedicated IPs. So that's a data filter down here for dedicated IP. Data collection, Google wants you to enable Google Signals because they're saying we are able to collect more information around the web than we could before to put all this together, who your visitors are, so please do that. Data retention, set it to 14 months, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is when you go to look at data from 3 months ago, it won't be there. Reporting identity, you can look more into this and do it whatever works best for your use case, but user ID and device are the default, and the same thing for the attribution model. If you are using some kind of login website, let's say you're in WordPress and you're using one of the membership plugins or something like that, or even we use Podia for our training portal, but these companies or the software, these plugins are going to have specific advice for you on how to set up Google Analytics in terms of reporting identity, so you can report logged in users versus non-logged in users if that's important to you. And your attribution model is set to default. As we did with Universal Analytics, we can connect analytics to other Google products. So one of the products you can connect to is BigQuery. And right now it's changing on whether you're going to have to pay for BigQuery or how much you're going to have to pay or not going to pay. And it's about analyzing data. So that's a bit beyond the scope of this, but I would say go with the 14 months for now, as we said above. And as the deadline gets closer, we're going to get some more details about the best way to approach BigQuery for long-term data storage, whether you're doing data viewing or actual data analysis of more recent data. You're going to want to also link your Google Ads account if you've got one. And obviously you've got to, link Search Console, and we'll show you how to do that. Coming down to reporting. So in engagement reports, you're going to see a conversion report. And when we configure your events in Google Analytics are no longer based on page views. In the past, we would say you have a landing page, that's a page view, and then you have a thank you page, that's a page view. And when the page view is thank you, then make that a goal completion. That's completely different now. So the way Google handles it now is it's all based on events. So you would have, and we show you in the training, you'd configure a new event based on the page view event, where that specific page view event is the viewing of your landing page. So you're creating your events, you can then test your events. And if that event is a conversion for you, you can go into the configuration conversions and mark that area as a conversion. And then obviously you can go ahead and create more conversions. You're going to have some events that may or may not be conversions for you, and that's something to consider. Also, as of right now, this is December 22. If you want to create a different type of conversion, say a button click as a conversion, let's say on your landing page, like we have, it has a call to action to purchase our full training, that you can't set up through Google Analytics' events area. What you've got to do is use Tag Manager to create the event that way to push it into Google Analytics 4, which is why I'm having you set up Tag Manager in the beginning, because that way it's going to give you more flexibility later moving forward. And then based on how you want to handle it, I like to do a 7-day check and a 30-day check. And we also do a 90-day check for our clients and people we migrate over. But again, that's up to you and the kind of service that you want to offer. In the past with Google, with Universal Analytics, you could hit refresh very quickly and test that traffic is coming in. And that's great. And it would report kind of across the whole product. Now with 4, you can see real-time data, but it might take 24 or even 48 hours to actually see data coming into the full reporting. We were testing conversions just last week for one of our campaigns, and we were seeing the conversion fire in Google Tag Manager or the Tag Assistant, and we saw it in the real-time conversion, but in the real-time measurement on that screen. But what we weren't seeing is it wasn't reporting under our list of events. And after about 24 or 48 hours, then it showed up. And that can be very frustrating because Universal didn't work that way. And even though it says it might take 24 or 48 hours, we never believe that. We just assume they're saying that, like DNS resolution. Expect 48 hours when, we keep hitting refresh because we expect DNS to be done instantly. So that concludes the list here of what's on our training. And obviously, if you have questions about this checklist, please don't hesitate to ask. I think the full training is a terrific product, and it will really walk you through all of this. Certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Good luck with your training and your migrations, and I thank you again for taking the time to listen and for downloading our checklist.